morning, everybody. It's lovely to see all the red in the audience today. We love to celebrate Red Fridays here. Just a little, I'm gonna give some updates. We have Janet Blackshire is gonna come up and talk a little bit about the Employee Appreciation Fund. We have a very special guest, Mary Mackey, here today, who's gonna come up and talk to all of you. But I'm gonna start by announcing our September Employees of the Month. So for independent living, it's Lavinia Karp, our maintenance coordinator. Come on up, Lavinia. So Lavinia gets 400 extraordinary rewards points, which equals $100 that she gets to spend in our online store. She gets a special parking space and lots of kudos from everybody. So keep those nominations coming. We love to celebrate our employees when they go above and beyond. So thank you, Lavinia. For assisted living and memory care, the winner was Maria Leandre. She is a caregiver in memory care. At Plaza West, it was Apple Tosh, and she is a CNA at Plaza West. So congratulations to all our employees of the month for September. I want to give just some shout outs to the team and the staff for doing such a great job through last week's Hurricane Idalia. It was much less of an event than we thought it was going to be, but we'll take that every time. We had lots of people stay here overnight on Tuesday, make sure everything was in order, and we didn't have any power outages, which was great. We had a little bit of water down at assisted living, but that isn't atypical for that particular building, but no major damage, and we're very thankful. The dining team did a great job of pivoting and altering service, and just thank you to everybody that helped through that. A reminder, I always receive emails about speeding on the boulevard and stopping at stop signs, and I am not blaming the residents exclusively. We have vendors, we have employees, but if you talk straight numbers, we have more residents than we have employees and vendors, but it's a shared, we're jointly accountable for those things. And so I want to make sure that everybody pays attention to that 20-mile-an-hour speed limit, as well as stopping at the stop signs. And while we're talking about it, not walking in the circle. Let's just talk about all the things that are important outside of the circle and the boulevard. So please, please, please adhere to those signs and speed limit. I want to mention, I'm not going to get into much detail, but a reminder that we're going to be doing the preferred dining kickoff meetings later this month on September 20th and 21st. I'm going to keep putting those frequently asked questions in our memos on Wednesday. I did repeat some questions this week because they tend to be the ones that keep coming up as I talk to residents. So I'm enjoying my dinners and lunches with all of you, and we're talking a lot about preferred dining. We're talking about transportation. We're talking about all kinds of good stuff that's going on at Freedom Plaza, and I'm looking forward to continuing those dinners and lunches through the rest of the year and beyond. So also we're going to be scheduling the next round of the floor, wing, and GVT building meetings. They will start the first week in October. So next week with the memo, you'll get a schedule of those meetings. You'll get a schedule of the dates for dinner and lunch for the last quarter of the year. So lots of good stuff coming up for the rest of the year here. I'm going to give a brief sales update. So third quarter, our budget for sales is 12. We are currently at 12 sales, which is great. We've already achieved that goal. We have 4 or 5 maybes. They're almost there. And we're hoping that we can get maybe 2 or 3 of those folks to cross the finish line here by the end of the month and end ahead of the game. We'll always take more if we can get those. So as of today, we have 377 occupied apartments out of 425. That's right about 88% occupied. So we are flirting with 90%. And we are hopeful that if everything shakes out this month the way we think it is going to, that we will be at 90% at the end of this quarter. So very exciting stuff. That's a milestone. A reminder, we talked a little bit about budget season. We're in the throes of it right now. And Mary's here today. She's going to talk this morning, but she's also going to meet with myself and Dennis and our resident leaders this afternoon to review the 2024 operating budget as it stands right now. So that's our first step in communicating with you all on what the budget looks like for next year. The all resident meeting where we present the final product is going to be on October 26th. That is the scheduled appetizers with Angie meeting, and that will also be the presentation of our budget for next year. And we'll include all these dates and times in the memo as we get closer to those meetings. So now I'm going to call up Janet Blackshire. She's going to talk about the Employee Appreciation Fund. Janet?
Good morning, everyone. I really appreciate this time to talk just a little bit about the RAC Employee Appreciation Fund. We have a lot of new residents that don't know a whole lot about it, so I hope this will help them. Please look at the goal thermometer as you enter the dining area. I will update it when we get big hunks that we can see the line that goes across. I will be fixing the goal thermometer. We have 59 days to raise $96,119 so that we can reach our goal of $210,000. Yesterday, our bank balance was $113,881. Now we know we can't reach our goal unless more residents donate this year than donated last year. As we saw last week with the threat of a Category 3 hurricane, our Freedom Plaza employees are amazing, and we need to let them know we appreciate them. Since Continuing Care Retirement Communities, or CCRCs, have a no tipping policy, this type of fund was established so residents can say thank you to the hourly employees who work hard every day to make sure that our life is as stress-free as humanly possible. At Freedom Plaza, we suggest a donation of $2 per day per person. The donations are voluntary and they are confidential, and we appreciate all donations. Now, this is not a bonus check. It is a gift of appreciation check from the residents of Freedom Plaza because we do not tip our hourly employees. For our new residents, I want to list some of the services these employees provide for us. And honestly, some of these services we who have lived here for a long time seem to take for granted. They provide transportation for us. If we are unable to drive ourselves to the doctor, to the hairdresser, shopping, grocery store, and so forth. If this service wasn't provided for us and we needed to call a car service, we would need to pay for the service plus give the driver a tip. So we need to consider the number of times we use this wonderful service. When we got our COVID-19 shots, and we didn't have to make our own arrangements. We didn't have to leave our campus because the pharmacists from Walgreens came here to this auditorium to give us our vaccinations. Lisa Frank and her team worked with management to make that possible. Lisa and her team make anything health related easier and more convenient for us. Many residents have not had to make a trip to the emergency room at the hospital because we have great EMTs on our campus 24 hours, 7 days a week. We're fortunate to have the excellent physical therapists to help us recover from surgery, a fall, or an accident, and who work on our campus. When something goes wrong in our apartment, Civi's maintenance team comes to fix it. I could go on and on because I haven't mentioned the associates who work in the dining and in the American Grill. They are the ones who cook, set up, serve, clean up, assist the chefs, as well as pack the in-room dining meals. Housekeeping not only cleans our apartment every week, it includes the associates who wash, dry, and fold the sheets and towels that most of us use every week. Innovative home service associates provide the personalized care you may want or need. And we can't forget all the trips and entertainment Susie and her team organize for us. I believe I have heard that we have 61 clubs at Freedom Plaza. So without a doubt, we have something for everyone. Now it's important for you to know all the money the residents give to this fund go to the hourly employees who have worked a minimum of 125 hours before October the 28th of this year and are employees at Freedom Plaza on the day they receive their checks. We don't have a checking account, so we don't have a checkbook. When we need to order checks, we order them from the bank and they deduct them from our account. Directors, Rock and Sales and Marketing do not receive checks. Our associates like working at Freedom Plaza, and they like us, the residents, and they truly appreciate this generosity. It takes teamwork to make this happen. And the most important members of this team are you, the residents. Without your donations, we can't reach our goal. So if your neighbor is not here today, please share that we have only 59 more days to reach our goal. The cutoff date for donations is November the 6th. All deposits must be received at the bank by 5 p.m. on November the 6th. You can tell I don't have a light up here. So please don't wait until the last minute. We can reach our goal. It's all about giving. We did this last year, and we can do it again this year. The checks we distribute in December are from all residents at Freedom Plaza. So we need all residents to make a donation. If any of the Associate Appreciation Committee members are here, please stand up. I have had the pleasure of working with them for 4 years. It takes 19 hours over 3 days to distribute the checks in December. However, I think all of us on the committee would agree that seeing the smiles on their faces, getting hugs from some of them, and hearing many of them say, "The residents are so nice to do this for us." It is a great way for us to start the holiday season. Are there any questions? If not, I will be here after the meeting if you think of anything that you would like to ask me. Thank you.
So I'm gonna give some updates on transportation before I ask Mary to come up. And I heard you grumbling out here. So I did send a memo out, I think 2 Fridays ago, sort of clarifying some items on transportation. And I want to reiterate what I said in that memo. And the first being, there is no plans or intentions of changing the mileage radius for the people that live here now. Secondly, we are not going to charge for anybody that has to return to the campus after 5 p.m. All we ask is that you do your best to schedule appointments earlier in the day if you can. I know, based on all my hip issues this year, that that's not always possible. If you need to see a surgeon, you see them when they can see you, right? They don't accommodate your schedule. So I appreciate that. So I did meet with Jeff and Vanessa after the last meeting. We clarified some things, and so that's all cleared up. And I want to make sure that everybody understands that every decision we make is really done with your best interests in mind. So any modifications to the transportation service is really to prioritize your medical appointments. We want to be able to take you to your medical appointments, and some of these other transportation appointments we've been accommodating prevent us from doing that. That being said, I'm saying this with Mary here so you don't all think I'm going rogue, right, and not communicating with anyone, but we have every intention of purchasing an extra vehicle And whether we provide the personal transportation through the transportation office or we provide it through Innovative Home Services, we will get an extra vehicle to accommodate those requests for a charge as soon as we can secure that vehicle. So we're hopeful that that will be early next year. And as you noted, I did not send out any sort of notice yet. So whatever you're currently being provided from a transportation perspective will continue until I send out a notice that says otherwise. So we're still working out some of those final details, and I know you all, and I think we all are guilty of it, we think of all these what ifs. What if this happens? What if that happens? And so I can't give an answer to every single what if that may pop up down the road when it comes to transportation. But what I can tell you is that we are always going to do the right thing. And what I'm encouraging the folks in the transportation office, my department heads to do if they are unsure about a situation is pick up the phone and call me. Pick up the phone and call me and say, what do you think about this situation and what should we do? So we're always going to make decisions on an individual basis if it's outside the parameters we provide to you. And we're going to finalize what this transportation looks like going down the road. And Mary and I are going to spend some time talking about that today, because I know a lot of the concerns that were expressed is that if we do change this radius for new residents, it's going to exclude some big hospitals in the area and other places that people might need to go. And I understand that our geographical location sort of prohibits a lot of places are further away than maybe some other communities. So we're still thinking about those things and we're considering them. So I appreciate your feedback. I've received lots of emails. I've had lots of conversations, and we are going to do the right thing. So I want to put everybody's mind at ease. We're not making changes to anything for existing residents, and we are going to do our best to get the resources we need to be able to provide that personal transportation to you for a charge, as we do now. There's a charge now for those things, and that will continue. So I just want to do my best to put your mind at ease, and we will finalize all those details and share them with you in the next week or so. So with that, I'm going to call Mary up. She's going to talk about what's going on at Life Care Services and all the things that we've been talking about from an operational perspective. So welcome, Mary.
Thank you, Angie. I don't sound great, but I promise I'm not contagious, or I wouldn't be here. So it's just some allergies or something going on. But thank you. And Angie, I just want to recognize you as the leader here. I jotted down some notes that I happened to speak at a conference for Leading Age, and Angie was in the audience, and it was really a roundtable discussion about, what I most admire about leaders that I have worked with over the years. And I think that Angie embodies so many of these characteristics. Leaders that listen. She's a person that listens, and she listens to all of you, and she takes every individual comment very seriously, and she communicates those with me sometimes a couple times a day. We talk a lot, and that's good. And leaders that communicate the why we're doing something. I think Angie just gave you a really good example of that, so I'm going to recognize that. And also leaders that develop trust. And I think everyone trusts Angie. When she says she's going to do something, she does it, and she does it with your best interests at heart. So could we recognize Angie here? And I also want to recognize all this great staff, and there are so many people are so dedicated and devoted, but you really see the super shiny stars when we have some sort of situation like a potential hurricane. And will all the staff that's here just stand up and let's give you a round of applause? Come on, y'all folks. Come on, Stephanie, stand up. There's not a lot of the staff that's here today, but what a dedicated effort that they make to make sure that you're safe, that the building and the grounds are safe, and that you're well taken care of. So I appreciate so much this team. I've worked with this company for a long time, for those that don't know me, and I had a period of time where I filled in as the executive director here. So I know many people very well, and I just met someone, Sharon, and she's only been here a year. Is that right? So welcome. But for those alumni residents and for the new residents, I just wanted to just give some overview about the focus of what's going on with Life Care Services and things that I think that we're particularly proud of. Excuse me. One of the things is, other than having a great risk management group like that help us focus on the things that keep the buildings and the grounds and the people safe during a hurricane, we have a great risk management department, and we have a special person named Dan Wicker who's dedicated just to our 13 communities. And I know Dan has spent some time here evaluating. He goes and wanders through the grounds and the parking lots and helps with any kind of safety concerns. I know he's met with residents here. But he led that whole hurricane discussions, which we would have a meeting every day by phone and discuss it. But one of the things I'm proud of is that the focus that we make on just making the connection between the resources and the communities. And another way that we do that is with department head training. And we have had, every department head has or will go before the end of the year to is it 2 or 3 days in Des Moines? Is it 3 days in Des Moines, meet their other peers from throughout the 140 communities and have a time to reconnect, reinvigorate, learn best practices, get some training, and it's one of the best things I think Life Care Services does. We connect our people and we provide, I think, really Class A training. So I'm trying to think. I think Dennis is going to meet with the directors of financial services. I know that there's going to be the dining folks have met. I think that we've got a few of them. Yeah, Lisa, Sibby, all of them have been able to go for this specialized training in this past year, and there's a few more to go. So one of the things that we focus on is that when we talk to our department heads and the people that are at these trainings, is that our focus, our vision is that when you move into a community, when you moved into this community, our goal is to make your life better. You had great lives to begin with, but our focus and our vision is that all the things that we do here for you will make your life better. Some of our signature trainings that we do are around that health and wellness navigation. I know Janet mentioned Lisa and her team and the COVID shots, and that if you have a health event that she helps help you navigate through that. I think that's probably something that you can't put money on, having that person here watching out for your health and wellness. We talked about, we do training on what we call EverSafe 360, and that really does look at all the aspects of safety in our communities. One of the things that I'm very proud of is when that our community, Southport Square, really last September, Hurricane Ian, was it? They had significant damage. There was a team that was put together by our group, EverSafe 360, that arrived and stayed throughout the whole event, or right after the event, and just, we have those resources available. We also talk about extraordinary impressions, and this is where we're talking about the connection that we make between each other and our residents. So those are the things that we're focusing on, including what we're calling the high level imperatives, or HLIs. And that's a new strategy of the company that we're really looking at how we're going to focus on our residents, our employees, our infrastructure regarding IT, and looking at standardization when it makes the most sense. So those, and it's not cookie cutter, but where it makes the most sense. And Angie happens to be on some committees looking at really some high level information. So those are my updates for LCS. I hope all of you take the time to complete your survey. We like to say that feedback is a gift. We want to get your opinions, and boy, we do get a lot of opinions around here, don't we? So we have a lot of volunteers that give us great opinions, but we do want them. We really encourage you, please fill out your survey. We want to hear from you, and we want to celebrate the feedback that you're going to provide us. So those are my updates about LCS. I do live in St. Pete, and in fact, Angie's my neighbor. So I'm here frequently, but I haven't been at a public meeting really probably since COVID, I don't think. So hopefully I'm going to get back on your agenda schedule, so you'll see more of me. But I have been here, and even when I wasn't supposed to be, I'd sneak in the back door and visit with Angie anyway. So I would like to answer any questions you may have for me. The flu shots, we have flu shots clinics October 3rd. We will have clinics for flu shots. Yes, sir. And there'll be a notification about those. Well, that's wonderful. All righty. Well, thank you very much. I hope to see you around today, and thank you again for your welcoming graciousness, and I love this community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. You took it easy on her. I appreciate that. Before I call Dennis up to give us a financial update, and just one more reminder on the survey. It just needs to be mailed tomorrow. So if you haven't done your survey, you still have time. You just need to make sure it gets in the mail tomorrow to be counted. And I will say I got an update yesterday on participation, and right now independent living is at 72%. So we want to get to that 85. So if you haven't done your survey, make sure you get that in the mail by tomorrow. So with that, Dennis, come on up.
Hello, everybody. Time for the most riveting part of the program. We're going to talk some numbers. The red looks awesome out there. I'm not used to seeing red for a town hall, but it looks great. I grabbed the wrong tie this morning. I tried to wear red as well and grabbed the wrong tie, lost track of time in the week. But if you look really hard, I got a little flag right here. So that's going to be my red for the day. So as Angie mentioned, this time of year is a busy time for us. The whole August, September timeframe is kind of our busy season. Right now, we're in the middle of closing out our August financials, finalizing those. And as she also mentioned, we're also right in the middle of budget season. We're going to be meeting with some of the resident leaders, kind of letting them see kind of where things are at. That'll all be finalized, in the upcoming weeks. And then, as she mentioned, we'll also be taking a peek at that at the end of next month. So all those things are in process. What we're going to take a quick look at right now is the last set of numbers that were finalized. This is our July financials. So we're kind of almost a month back, but it kind of gives you a feel for where we're at the end of July. And overall, there's always some highs and lows, but overall, we're not too far off of kind of what had been budgeted. As you can see, total revenues for the entire community were through July were 23.3 million against a budget of 23.5. So we're about a couple $100,000 short. Most of our headwinds related to that really deal with the skilled nursing center. It's our most complicated area to work with, because not only are you making sure you have the beds filled in terms of your census, but there's a lot of payer mix issues, like the types of payers that can really have huge impacts. And even if you meet your census, the revenues may not necessarily line up the same way. So that's something we're always working with. Medicare, the reimbursement plans change over time. the payer mix changes over time, and we're always trying to adjust to that. So that's been our biggest challenge so far from a revenue perspective. Fortunately, some of the other areas have come up to account for some of that deficit, so that we're not, we're still not too far off. From an expense standpoint, it's a net positive. We had actual expenses of 22.2 million against a budget of 22.6. So we're 373,000 to the positive. And then when you factor all that together, we're about $145,000 over budget. So, we continue to, as we get these sales and have these great quarters, we hope these positive trends will continue. And we'll give you an update as we wrap up August and the budget. Thank you.
And the last thing I'll talk about is we had a lovely purple party yesterday, our annual Alzheimer's fundraiser. I saw lots of great gift baskets, and we have lots of winners. So congratulations to those of you that won. But our grand total, we raised $3,400 for the Alzheimer's Association, which is $400 more than we raised last year. So a great event. It was a fun event. Everybody in purple. I did sneak out a bit early because I had dinner reservations with some residents last night, but thank you to all of you who donated, and we look forward to that every year. So with that, is there any other questions for me? Here we go. We have one here in the back, Jeff.
I was told by a resident yesterday that the picture board in the auditorium was going to be taken away because it's not appropriate. I think a lot of us enjoy seeing our picture up there, etc., and wondered why.
So the easel that was put in the atrium was intended to be there temporarily for an event. And it's not that we don't want to display our pictures. We absolutely do want to display those pictures. But we are going to get a nice bulletin board and put it up on the second floor where everybody can enjoy the pictures that are taken around Freedom Plaza. We did have an issue with the easel falling over and landing on a resident's foot. It sort of is, there's not a real good place for it, and that's not the area that's intended for displaying those types of things. So we absolutely want to display those photos, and we are going to buy a nice board to put on the second floor, and we will continue to put those pictures up for everybody to see. Any other questions?
I still have a comment on the dining room chairs. They're atrocious.
I hear you.
The Nile, I think, has red colored seats, and if they're ripped and you've got light pants on, you've got red marks on your pants.
Okay.
It's disgusting.
No, I completely understand. So as we've talked a lot about planning our renovation for next year, that will certainly include new furniture for the dining rooms. And I think regardless, so our request for a renovation is that, it's a request, right? So I think we're gonna have to also plan for certain things we have to do. Whether we do a full renovation or not, we are gonna have to get new dining room chairs. So that is in our plan for next year. I've also heard about the chairs outside of the grill. Where's the coffee club? I've heard lots about those chairs as well. So they will certainly be in our plans for replacement next year as well.
Hi, getting back to transportation. Hold on, can't hear you. Transportation, I've mentioned it a few times about getting a shopping trip to Big Lots. It's not that much farther. And since the Tuesday morning store has closed, we end up with Dollar Store or Walmart as our only shopping availability.
Mm-hmm.
And Big Lots is maybe just a mile extra.
Okay,
And I was just wondering if we couldn't work it in somewhere. Or
we'll work something out.
Yeah, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Dr. Behringer?
Contact the activity office 2 or 3 times and registered for the tour of the coast. And apparently, we got no response. And we wanted to sign up for the Big Band concert as well. So we don't know in GVT how to get activity registered.
Okay, I will have Susie give you a call. So make sure that you get signed up for the activities that you want to participate in.
Angie, COVID-19 is, I think it's coming back. Are we gonna get another booster shot for those?
Well, I can tell you what I know is that I heard from Lisa yesterday, as Mary mentioned, our flu shot clinic is going to be on October 3rd, but that is not going to include any COVID boosters or the pneumonia vaccine. So it's going to be strictly flu shots. As far as getting a COVID booster clinic here, it's going to be difficult because as we got further and further through the pandemic, the pharmacies aren't doing those massive clinics like they did in the beginning. So if there is a booster available that you have not received yet, I encourage you to just set up an appointment at CVS or Walgreens and get any boosters that you may need. Tommy?
Yeah, I don't want to start a big controversy. I just got a question that I would like to ask everybody here. If we go with putting the photos on the second floor, would you please raise your hand if you normally stop and look at the board on the first floor, but you would not be going up to the second floor just to look?
So,
Does that tell you anything? Thank you very much, gang.
Anita?
Jeff's not in here with the mic.
There was an article this morning in the paper about the flu shots,
Mm-hmm.
and it talked about the certain types for people over 65. Could you, in your memo, at least let us know which one you're going to give? Because if it's not one of those, then I would go to somewhere else and get it.
Sure, I'll get that information and provide it. Any other questions? Over here, for Mr. Phelps, Teresa.
I'll use Dr. Bailey. I raised the question to Dennis, okay, having dealt with contracts, and since Spectrum is not furnishing all the channels, what kind of rebate? What kind of rebate is Freedom Plaza getting from Spectrum since they're not furnishing 5 of the channels that are on the basic plan?
I'll tell you what, thank gosh I don't use Spectrum at my house anymore, because I would be irate with no ESPN.
Amen. So get it.
We will do our best, and I keep reading articles on social media about it, and I think they're saying that if there's going to be an agreement, it's going to be before this weekend. So I will find out what our options are regarding our cable package and if we get any sort of rebate or anything, but I don't know an answer for that right now.
From a personal standpoint, Comcast gave me 2 months when one of their channels failed because of technical issues. So yes, there is a precedent out there to get money.
Right, no, I agree, so that's something I'll follow up on.
Angie,
Yes,
we are not the only LCS community using Spectrum. I'm pretty sure of that.
absolutely.
So this shouldn't be your fight. This should be something that we ask Mary to do for us.
And I know, and Mary and I can talk about that. I know there's been conversations with Spectrum by our LCS support team, as well as trying to look at potential other options for cable service. I don't know where we are in that process, but I will certainly find out and let you all know. What I did hear, and I don't know if I mentioned this at the last meeting or not, is that there is a plan, and I actually read this in an article last night. Over time, Spectrum is really only concerned about their internet business because they know they are losing customers left and right for the cable because everybody is starting to stream, whether that's through Hulu or YouTube TV or whatever other streaming service is out there. So I think that's something we're gonna have to plan for as it gets closer.
Angie, on the internet question. On the cell phone issues, I guess is what I should say. But signal in here is atrocious.
Cell phone signal is not good in this building. That was, yeah. So.
Anybody can work on that?
So I think it's not a fixable problem because of the construction of the building. So we are a concrete and steel beam construction building. There are areas where cell phones work beautifully, and there are areas that cell phones don't work so beautifully. So the best way to maximize your service is to be connected to a wireless internet network, because you can make calls via the internet and you don't need the cell phone connection. So we will continue to look at ways to boost our Wi-Fi service in common areas, which should help with your ability to make cell phone calls within the building. But I can never guarantee you that anywhere in your apartment you're going to have good cell phone service.
For us, those of us who are over 75, would you tell us what is a streaming service?
So I apologize for that. So streaming service is TV service that is watched exclusively through wireless internet. So you don't need a cable cord to plug into the wall. You have a smart television and you download an app onto that television. And then through that app, you have all your television shows. So if you have Spectrum now and you have the guide that kind of rotates and shows you what's on, like these streaming services have the same thing. So I was able to explain it to my mom, and she actually uses my streaming account in Pennsylvania. So it actually looks very similar to cable. You're just getting to it a different way.
Tell us your password.
See me after the meeting.
One of the things that I want to know is, after that wonderful commentary, I need an explanation. I don't know what streaming is. I don't know what Hulu is or Hulu or what have you, and so on. So could you put out a bulletin that explains these various?
Sure. That's one thing I know a little bit about. So I can certainly share some information on those services. Okay, so Ron Sweet, the RAC president, said he will ask the technology committee to set up some sessions on it as well. Any other questions? So a smart TV, you may have one and not even know it. So a smart TV, it's pretty much all they sell anymore. It's just a flat screen TV. It looks like a normal television, but you're able to connect it to the internet. And because you connect it to the internet, you're able to download these other applications that I'm talking about to watch television or movies. Any other questions? All right. Well, thank you for taking it easy on us today. Look forward to seeing you at dinner, at lunch, and our floor meetings coming up. Have a great day.